Spider-Man 2 has actually added this feature for fans, and event just got confirmed again by Insomniac. The trailer yesterday makes you forget about that 2-year drought we had because this game looks incredible. From things you completely overlooked to DualSense features and even leaving New York as a whole. We have lots to get through. If you could leave a like, it helps a ton, but turn that into a dislike if you get to the end and did not enjoy the video. Now the sad news from yesterday's trailer is that we still see the release date as fall of 2023, which is a little bit annoying, but other than that, this makes Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4, as in the 2018 version, almost look basic, which is super weird to say, but as I mentioned, this game just looks next level. Now we can play as of course the two Spider-Men, and we saw the ability to switch to Miles and vice versa. Now my first theory on that was, what if it would only be tied to missions, but it seems not. Now if we are comparing it to any other character switching game, of course it is only right to bring up GTA 5. That then left me wondering, especially with Peter having the symbiote, if we'll jump into very wild cutscenes from each Spider-Man, either in combat or in Pete's case, maybe just being in full dark mode, or maybe just being a bit of a douchebag. Now it has now been confirmed that we can explore new city boroughs, and if we go back to last year, it seems that we will have Queens, Brooklyn's and the Bronx of course. Now exactly how many is still yet to be confirmed, but it does take us to the point that was mentioned on the PlayStation blog that just released, teasing us to potentially leave New York at some point as a whole. Now it says the following, and I quote, "Between the start of Kraven's Great Hunt and an all-new symbiote threat to Earth 1048, our heroes have their work cut out for them." Now that confirms quite a lot, most importantly that this threat is literally global. So going back to what I said about leaving New York to fight the threat, it could actually be in the form of just missions and maybe having different locations there, or it could be DLC. Now I feel like that fact alone, however, does show just how much bigger this game is compared to the first, and really how they were just scratching the surface with the first game. Now we have a super cool sponsor, so let's roll the ad and then we'll continue into the video. Today's video is sponsored by Display, the #1 place to go for the most incredible posters. But wait, not just any posters, metal posters designed to capture your unique passions. The best part is you don't need to drill any holes into your wall either, because it comes with a magnetic mount and a protective leaf, as you can see on screen, and it's super easy to install. You literally just put the protective leaf on the wall and then you put the magnet on top of it and you hold it down for about 5 seconds. And the reason why this is so cool is because it literally does 0 damage to your walls. And on top of that, you can also see the most amazing posters that I've got that are just super easy to swap out once your mount is actually up. I mean, it doesn't get more convenient than this, literally. And with over 40,000 artists and 1.3 million designs, there are tons to choose from Star Wars, Harry Potter, Spider-Man, right down to some very cool looking designs to really bring some life to your room. Now not only does your purchase support the artists who make these, but for every display sold, a tree is planted. And I've listed some of my favorite posters on my page for you to grab too. And if you get 1 to 3, you get a 20% discount, or if you buy more than 3, you get a 30% discount. It's a great alternative to the standard paper impressions or just the canvas posters or prints that you would actually get. So check out Display and some of my favorite Display posters with a link in the description below. Now the villain list we have in Spider-Man 2 is pretty extensive. When Kraven is looking at the New York map, in the left corner there is a list that highlights the raft villains too, which you don't actually see unless you actually zoom in to analyze that scene, which I thought was a little bit interesting because at that point I guess the question then becomes, well, is it just there to kind of be there, or will there be some sort of appearance from these villains in the raft as well? I mean, is that going to tie into the story? Because again, I guess there's so many ways and directions that this can actually go, so it would make sense sense, but nonetheless I thought that was worth actually mentioning. Also, side note, if you look when Peter tells Miles, "So do I," at the end of the trailer, you can see his eyes kinda shift to that jagged look of Venom's eyes, and I think they just really nailed it with his behavior, and especially the voice to just show the effect the symbiote is having. Now, with all of that said and done, at the end of the game, is there going to be a showdown between both Miles and Peter, or is Peter going to be Miles's boss fight at some point in the game? I mean, which direction are we going here? Because all of it seems realistic, specifically because at the end of the trailer, of course, Miles is visibly worried and verbally worried about Peter. And now that it's been confirmed that you can play as both characters in the game, there's a chance that players will have to play as Miles to try and stop Peter from falling further and further into the dark side, or, as I say, is it just going to be a straight showdown? Now, back to the blog that was posted, they did mention the following, which got me very excited. It says, and I quote, "As Miles tracks Lizard through the fish market, our environments are sure to activate your spidey senses. Our world is richer, denser, and packed with details from particles to improved textures. Lighting also gets an upgrade, casting more dramatic shadows and reflections along walls and pipes. Meanwhile, spatial 3D audio creates unique soundscapes all around you. Further, we are upping the immersion in Marvel Spider-Man 2 with our signature use of DualSense wireless controller, including a range of haptics and spectacular use of the adaptive triggers. Whether you're sneaking through the interiors or exploring our city streets, Marvel's New York is brought to life in ways only possible on the PlayStation 5 console." And as I say, that has got me very, very excited. Now, all in all, a lot of fans, including myself, definitely were shocked after that release yesterday, and as I've mentioned numerous times throughout this video, it does just confirm how many directions this game can actually go in. As mentioned earlier, from DLCs, missions, right down to just new installments and sequels.